Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything created by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 77. Today we have a very special guest, really good friend of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, brother.
My name is Kyle Sadler. I'm with Bad Dog BBQ cooking team. I'm from Benton, Arkansas, and I've been competing for about 2 years now.
Not very long.
No, I started last year. I guess the year before last, I did a contest in Texas that my work invited me to, and there was like 6 people there.
Please tell me you won.
I did, actually.
I was going to say, but hey, those small ones are kind of hard sometimes. You never really know.
So the crazy thing about that was I've never competed before. I did all my research, probably 2 weeks in advance, and I've never cooked competition barbecue. Well, I went to Fire Dancer Barbecue, and Brian, I asked him for as much help as I possibly could. And he's kind of, I don't know how to put it. He's not open book about it. So I had to kind of beat it out of him. But he helped me as much as I could. I got first place in everything but chicken.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. He showed me his chicken recipe, and that's the thing that makes him. But it kind of hooked me after that. After hearing my name, or our name is mine and my work team, we kept hearing our name. I kind of got hooked after that.
Yeah, no, I tell everybody that I really think that the first call, the first walk, if you got, that first place, man, it changes everything for you. It becomes an instant addiction. It makes it to where it's like, man, I got to go back. I got to do that again. But at the same exact time, if you're a competitive person, man, the first time you sit your butt on your chair the whole time, that's equally as motivating because you're like, in a way, and I've said this so many times, so this is not new, but in a way, you're walking up there thinking, man, I make the best barbecue here. There ain't no way anyone's going to beat me. Because, let's face it, we all have pride, right? You don't necessarily, you're not going to be cocky or you don't want to be cocky, but you do have pride in what you're doing. So you think like, man, I'm going to go over there and my barbecue, everyone tells me my barbecue's the best anyway. There ain't no way these guys are going to, you can have your trailers, you can have all that stuff. I'm still going to go in there and win. So I do think there's a lot that can be said about going and getting your butt whooped too.
Very humbling.
Oh, for sure.
Now, were you barbecuing regularly, like in the backyard, or was this maybe something that you just like kind of just recently did before coming up to the competition?
No, so I started in 2018. I remember it. A buddy of mine was working at Bass Pro Shop, and I was watching. At the time, it was the what were those guys? They looked like a biker gang, and they were cooking barbecue in their backyard. And I can't remember what they're called, but then I started watching Malcolm Reed's videos. And I remember I messaged a buddy of mine. I said, hey, I need a price on a smoker, his price, employee pricing. And he hooked me up with a smoker. It was a master-built electric smoker. And I cooked on it for about a month. And then I went out and I bought a Yoder YS640, thanks to Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yep. He was cooking on the 480 at the time. And I was like, hey, he knows what he's doing. So I went out and bought me a Yoder YS640. And I'll just tell you, my wife was not happy about it. It was,
those are expensive. Yoders are pretty expensive, huh?
Man, it was crazy. At the time, they were $1,600. I still remember it. I bought the stainless steel aftermarket parts like the shelf, and I bought the grill grates. And it came out to be about $2,150 around that. And the crazy thing is now the base price to them is like $2,400. But
yeah,
I will tell you that smoker, that pellet grill has been, I bet you I've ran probably 400 bags of pellets through it, man. It has been amazing. I use it still to this day all the time.
Yeah.
And it's made me too. But I remember she was so mad because I spent that money, but now she's fine with it. It just took a little bit of time and persuasion with her. But
yeah, it's kind of similar to how we got into barbecue too. Like, we started kind of back in 2017.
Yeah. So, so you and I, and again, we've told the story many times. Sabrina and I used to cook in her backyard together all the time, but it's just we were super broke, so it was like always chicken wings and sausage. Like But it was like, oh my gosh, this is the best ever. But yes, when we bought our first home, that's when we really got into it. It was like, okay, let's like, my dad got me a smoker as our housewarming gift. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then from there, it was like that. And then I got a pellet grill, and then I got a Weber kettle. And it's just, ever since then, it's just kind of been like, this is our life. You know, I mean, obviously everybody knows that now if they're watching this podcast or listening. This is 100% our life now. So it really has been, you know, a crazy ride for us. But man, I did want to kind of circle back for just a second and talk about, I mean, 2 years of competing, right? So that really isn't that long. You have seen some success, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. We don't want to talk about the most recent successes right now, but how do you feel like you have been able to be so successful in such a short amount of time? And the reason I want to ask that question is because there's a lot of people that get into this sport. And I feel like a lot of people really don't understand that competition barbecue is so much different than backyard barbecue. You know, we're injecting, we're saucing, we're this, we're that, whatever. But what do you feel has made you have success in such a short amount of time? And I think this is really important for people to listen to and understand if you're going to get into this game.
I'm going to tell you this. It is obsession. Mm-hmm. It is dedication, hard work, and a lot of failure. Like, I didn't just start competing. I cooked 3 to 4 times a week in the backyard. And then then from there, I found friends at contests. They're willing to help me. That was a big thing, because my first few KCBSs, man, I felt like like you said, you go there, you think you're the best cook there is. And then you get beat up on. You're like, man. And all it does, it drives you harder. It did not make me want to quit. It made me, I can't wait to go prove that I can do it. Mm-hmm. And, man, it really just takes hard work. It does. It's not, and I tried to explain what you just said to a lot of people that I know about backyard competitions, because I hear it all the time. Oh, man, I make the best ribs there are. Okay, maybe in the backyard. And I'm not trying to sound cocky, because I had to learn that. Mm-hmm. That's not the same ribs that you turn in. Yeah. And it's such a big jump. And I'm not saying I like competition barbecue better, but it's not even the same animal, man. It's completely different. And that's one of the hardest things that I have time explaining to people that I personally know, is the difference in it. And I had to learn that difference. That was a hard part when I started doing contests. But I got lucky that I had good mentors starting out early.
Yeah, no, I think that, a lot of what you said is just dead on accurate. And I think the one thing that I also talk about a lot, but it's a great reminder, so I'll say it again, man, you have to remember, especially, over here in Texas, especially here, over in KCBS, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, I do feel like it's more structured where, for example, if you have a panel of certified judges, even if they don't necessarily love something, quote, if you hit your marks, I still think you're going to be able to score decently, right? Because you did what you were supposed to do. There's a little bit more of the personal aspect that is left out. And that's what I also love about like that certified part of KCBS. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I've only done 2 KCBS and they've been in Texas. So I don't even truly fully count those. That's not to disrespect the event. The event is incredible and I'll go every single year, but I do think that there's going to be some major differences there.
No, and I'm 100% believer in that. So I hear people talk about what they don't like about KCBS, about what we shouldn't do in KCBS, but those are the things that I like about KCBS. Yeah. I like the whole thing. Yes, there's negatives to it. There's positives to it. But I love the kale in the box. I love the 30-minute windows. I love that everybody is essentially cooking close to the same recipes. Not really. They're different, but you know what I mean. You're trying to hit the same points. And to me, that it comes down to who's more consistent. And that's my favorite thing about KCBS, is how consistent you are. And because like you were talking about, you were cooking in Texas. And KCBS, let's say in Texas, if they don't think barbecue sauce goes on brisket,
You're
they're
done.
going to hammer. And in KCBS, if the person doesn't like barbecue sauce on brisket, they're still going to acknowledge that it was a good brisket. And that's the difference that I've noticed as well.
For sure. And then, so kind of where I was going with that a second ago was, especially in Texas, you have to understand you are not cooking for you. You are not cooking for you. You are cooking for a random set of people who you have no idea what they want. And so, man, it's hard, right? Like you have tasted my food, right? But man, let's just say you didn't like it. And that would be completely understandable because everybody has different palates. But the one thing that I can tell you that nobody can really argue against is the texture. If you nail the texture, you've nailed the texture. Flavor is subjective, but I do think really, really good texture. I don't want to say they can mask flavor because I don't really think flavor can be masked, but I think that it almost, okay, maybe this doesn't taste exactly the way I want, but man, it was tender and it was juicy. So it almost is like it's a little bit okay if the flavor is not like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted.
No, that is 100%, man. I've learned from the beginning. I've had my friends that's been doing KCBS. If you ask them, what's the number one thing, they'll tell you the same thing. Hit your tenderness. That is hands down the most important thing about KCBS. And you will hear it. It's kind of a joke at this point because if you ask somebody, who's been doing it for a while, give me some advice, they're going to say hit your tenderness. But I am 100% firm believer that is it. That you can change your recipes all you want. If you're not hitting your tenderness, man, you're not going to get it.
So with the magic of editing, Kyle's lights are on now for anybody that's watching the podcast. I had to stop for a quick second. So if I interrupted a take of yours, I'm sorry. But you did look you got the black shirt on, you got the black hat, and then it was getting dark in there, man. I needed to see you, bro. I'm like, who am I talking to over there? My screen looks fully black, so I appreciate you turning the lights on. But man, the thing about KCBS that I just love and why I do think it is so impressive what you did, which we're gonna get to in a little bit, is because, man, like you have so much structure. Everybody kind of knows what they need to do, but that doesn't make it easier. In my opinion, it almost makes it a little bit harder, right? Because everybody knows, hey, I've done, for example, 20 KCBSs. I know that this is what they want. I know that this is what the exact tenderness, blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot of less like guesswork in it, right?
And so we all kind of know for the most part the differences, the technical differences in like KCBS and CBA, for example, like the turn-in times, the kale in the box, things like that. But what would you say is the biggest difference as far as like the actual cook, like the proteins that you're making, flavors, textures?
So I actually do have two different style of recipes on my ribs. And it's because I've had to learn this because I was doing the rib cook-off last year and my KCBS ribs were not winning. I have no idea why. So I basically made a recipe that works well with backyard judges. And it uses LC's injection in that one. And I just started seeing that he was winning a lot with using his pork injection. So that's what I started adding into my rib injection when I do backyard. So like CBA, like you asked me about that. I personally would take my ribs a lot further in CBA, which I didn't do so hot because it was my second contest I ever did. And I mean, like the first one I did was in Weatherford, and I finished in the middle of the pack. And I don't remember what I did. I think I got like 50th something in ribs, and there was still like 120 people there. The second time I went back, I did a little better. I got, I think, 13th in chicken. And I did a half chicken. I had to learn quick because I did thighs the first time. And at the time, CBA wasn't real big on thighs. And so that's when I went to Arlington and I did half chicken. And now I've heard that y'all do thighs quite a bit. But honestly, the only thing, I would just take it further. I mean, that'd be the only thing I would do different.
Do you think I think something we kind of see in the competition scene is it feels like there's trends. Each year there's like a new trend. Do you feel like that's the same with like KCBS, or is it for the most part like the same cook every year?
No, for sure. And I've only been doing this 2 years, and I noticed it. So different areas, it seems like cans always win. Like, I know
Right.
that sounds weird, but it does. It seems like north in like Missouri or some in Oklahoma, it seems like cans are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
You go in other places, it seems like Jambos and Outlaws are winning. So I do think it's very, I wouldn't say trend. I mean, it is a trend, but I feel like it's very locational.
What are you cooking on?
I cook on a Jambo.
I know what you cook on. I just, So you cook on a Jambo. Do you cook anything on a drum, on a kettle, anything at all?
So I do bring my drum with me to KCBS's, and that's only for, I know this sounds weird, but only for emergencies, or at the end if I feel like setting sauce and I don't feel like making sure if my drum's getting a little low. If my Jambo is getting a little low on temp, I'll use the drum to set my sauces. Yeah. But if it's pouring down rain, I like my drum and I cook on my drum. Like on some things, like on my ribs, like I'll finish them on the drum. Because I like to run my Jambo around 330 to 350. Mm-hmm. And when it's raining, it likes to run about 300 to 310, and that will put me a little behind if it's pouring down rain. So I bring my drum just for backup.
I think we've experienced that too.
Yeah, so we've run into that too, but for whatever reason, when we're running cans and cans only, if it rained, it was like we're about to do really good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, my drum, when it comes to raining, I promise you, if I had more drums and I knew it was going to be raining at a contest, I would 100% rather cook on drums.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's maybe it's the moisture in the air with the can or whatever, but man, I agree with you. I think that it just makes for a really, really good overall, just cook. It's just awesome.
Now, and I think also we mentioned Arlington. I believe that is where you and Alonzo met, correct?
Yeah. So, well, we had kind of seen each other on social media and stuff like that before, and then that's the first time we met. I took you a rib, right?
Yes.
I took you a rib, and I'll never forget it. I took you brisket to taste, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody caught me on the way to you. And they were like, "Hey, what's going on? Oh man, is there any?" Yeah, here you go. And that was the last piece I had, and I felt bad. But and the thing that was crazy about that is that same person came up to me after we hit that first place. That was a really big contest, and man, I feel like mostly every top team in Texas was there. So we hit that first place brisket, which was a really huge call, and that guy was like, "Dude, you gave me that slice, bro. Like, you gave me that slice." And I was like, "Oh, man, that was Kyle's, bro." But
I wish I knew who that guy was.
Yeah, I really don't remember. But that is.
I will tell you this. I took a bite of your rib that day, and I was in complete awe, man. Like, I loved it. Because it was different than what I expected Texas ribs to win there. And I know that sounds weird, but I never competed there. I didn't really have much insight. So I was trying to do more savory. But when I tasted that rib, I remember it like it was yesterday. Man, it had so much back end heat, but it was so sweet at the same time. And it was probably, I absolutely loved it. And that was probably one of my favorite things about that rib was how much heat and sweet was on it. And you did well with ribs. I think you got the 6th place call that day.
That was a 5th place rib. Yeah. I'm actually looking at the thing right here. It was a 6th place rib.
5th.
Yeah, man.
5th place rib. 5th, yeah.
But I remember that, and I was like, oh, crap, man, that was such a good rib.
Yeah.
And that's just not what I expected there.
Yeah, no, I do feel like, I preach to people all the time. You're not cooking for you. You're not. But I will say this, like, those ribs, those are some, in my opinion, those are some real good ribs. Like, I love those ribs.
No, those ribs they're probably one of my favorite to this day.
Yeah. No, I mean, I specifically, I truly, it's crazy. And Sabrina can attest to it too. So there's certain contests where you take a bite and you kind of never forget it, right? You don't forget that bite. Like, oh my gosh, like this is it. So I will say that this last contest, honestly, at Danny Dietz, I felt that with the brisket. That I'll never forget that taste whenever that slice hit my tongue. Those ribs were one of them. Surprisingly, that brisket, it's not that I thought that brisket was bad, but that brisket was not like one that, I mean, I remember how it tasted, but it wasn't one where I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first place. But the other time was whenever
when we had just come off of a first place at the car fest or whatever. So
yeah,
you know, in your head, you're like, there's no way I'm gonna get another first place back to back.
Yeah, your brisket was on fire at the time, wasn't it? Like you didn't you get like first, a second, a first, and a first, or
there was a time there was a time when we were competing a lot, and it was like we were going every weekend, every other weekend, and man, we really got on a roll. And that's one of those times that I'll never forget. Unfortunately, I already know we'll never get back to doing that because just the business has grown so much and we're doing so many different things. But there was a time when I really do feel like, oh man, like we're getting pretty strong at this, right? Like every single weekend we were going, it was just like clockwork, like boom, boom, boom. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Man, I was pulling my ribs at the same time. Tenderness was always there. Now I still feel like we do well and can do well, right? And we still do well, but it's just a little bit different not going all the time. Man, I definitely miss that time for sure. I miss that time for sure.
No, and I agree, man. I've not been able to do that with KCBS. Last year, I think I did 6 contests last year, KCBS's.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, that last one I did was my 10th one. So realistically, I'm still really, really new with KCBS.
Yeah.
And I mean, in cooking in general, because I only did 2 CBAs as well. So I've done 12 professional level contests, I guess you could say, more sanctioned contests.
Sure.
Sanctioned contests.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I was mentioning it earlier, like 2 years, but 2 years, number one, is not that long. And number two, you're not cooking the way, like, for example, like our 2023, you're not cooking like that. You're just going when you can. You're busy. You're, kid, married, all that stuff, but, man, it definitely is impressive what you've been able to do in such a short amount of time because, let's be real. And I say, let's get right into it. So, your last contest, I want it to come from your mouth. Like what happened to your last contest that you went to in Jonesboro, Arkansas?
Man, I had some angels looking at me that day, I think.
Yeah.
My chicken, I was so nervous because like my chicken, it was not getting done, man. I'm talking about it was time for me to sauce. I sauce right before I turn in. Like there's no rest on my chicken. And when it was time to sauce, man, I bet you I was 12 degrees off from where I wanted to be. I just wasn't paying attention. My smoker got a little bit cooler on me. And so I had to put it on the microwave shelf. And I put it on the microwave shelf for about 7 minutes, which the microwave shelf is probably 100 degrees hotter than the bottom. So if I had to guess, it's probably running 430, 440. And man, I pushed it to the limit, man. Like I didn't even get the color on my chicken that I wanted. So I was so nervous that my skin was going to be
rubbery.
I thought it was going to be rubbery. I was so nervous. So I picked the 6 smallest pieces I had, which luckily I had 6 that were small. And I even temped one. And it was at steel. It was only at like 197, man. And I like to push them over 200, 205, 206. And I was like, oh, goodness. So I sauced them and I put them in the box and I prayed. That's literally, I was like, oh man, this like I was turned in at the last minute. And I turned it in. And then, so I came back and I bit onto a bigger one. And it was a bite through. Well, then a buddy of mine was there and he took a bite and his was rubbery. And I'm like, oh goodness, let's just hope the smaller ones cooked a little bit more.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he took a bite and he's like, he even showed me. He's like, oh, and I was like, goodness. So there that was. Then I'll tell you this, I have learned just doing this for a little bit, the easier the cook, the worse you're going to do. And I don't know why that is. When things run smooth, you think everything's perfect. It does not work out. But ribs. So I was so busy that whole week. I just started a new job and I was working 12-hour days, so I didn't really have any time to get my meat selection. So I got lazy and I bought 3 packs of ribs from Costco. And normally I do Prairie Fresh and I look around at different stores and try to find them. Well, when I opened the packs, the ribs were not that great. I mean, I got 3 decent racks, I say, and I usually cook 3 to 4, but 3 of them were so bad and 3 of them were okay. Well, when I cooked them, everything cooked right except for 1 rack of ribs. It took probably 45 minutes to an hour longer than normal. Well, when I cut in, so 2 of my racks, when I cut down to them, they had this huge fat line right straight between the meat. And I just knew I could not turn them in. So I didn't even get to try the ribs that I turned in for KCBS because I turned in 6 bones off that rack, and I didn't even get to try any of the good racks. So I was just hoping with those. And but the ribs tasted good. The ones that I couldn't turn in because it had that fat line, they still tasted good, man. But I don't know if you ever had this when you took a bite and it had the fat line in between it, and there was just nothing I could do about it. But then everything pork, it ran smooth. I think I was scored probably fairly on pork. I got a 178, I think, in pork. It got a 6th place, and I think it was pretty fair. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't bad. But then, like brisket, I cut into it. So the brisket, I was completely out of my normal injection. And I went to Fire Dancer in Bryant, sorry, and he was out of the injection that I used. Well, I didn't have enough time to find a normal injection, so I used one that I had for 3 years. I have not used it in 3 years. It's sitting in a Ziploc bag on top of my pantry, and it was Cosmos Smokehouse. And I was so scared to use it, man. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be so smoky. I haven't used it in 3 years. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But when I took a bite of that brisket, man, I knew it was money. Like my wife doesn't even eat brisket, and I brought it to her. And she tried it, and she said, oh, this is it. Like, this is perfect. Well, brisket doesn't take very much time to do at all. So it takes me 5 minutes to do my brisket box. Well, I'm sitting here talking to some friends, thinking I had plenty of time. And I'm starting to put my brisket slices in the box. I turned my burn ends in, and I thought they were really good this day. Well, I'm sitting there making stuff pretty. I haven't even did my final sauce on top of my brisket. And I hear one of the judges or the guy at the turn-in table scream 20 seconds. Well, I almost didn't hear what he said, and I asked my buddy Eric Williams behind me, I said, man, what did he say? And he said, you got 20 seconds. And I literally grabbed my brush with my warm sauce, and I just slapped it over the slices. And I ripped the paper towels off my box, and I ran as fast as I could. And they were counting down, like from 5. I was running as fast as I could. They were saying 5, 4, 3, 2. And when I was almost to the table, he said, throw it, throw it. Well, I was able to get it out of my hand before it hit 1. And I turned that brisket in literally with 1 second left on the top.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, like it was legit. Like I ran as fast as I could across the parking lot. Luckily, I wasn't just too far away. But
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have been done for.
Yes, dude. And I thought I had plenty of time. That's what happens. Like I brought some friends with me, and I wasn't even paying attention. And you only get 30-minute windows in KCBS. So it was, which I love, but I just wasn't paying attention, and I almost lost it because of that.
Yeah, so we still haven't really talked about, we're talking about the contest. The people that are listening know something special probably happened because I've been alluding to it, and we're talking about it now. Yeah. Talk through your placings. You mentioned you got a 6th place pork. So what about the other 3 meats? What did you do on the other 3 meats?
And what was your mindset as they're calling each placing after everything you had just been through?
So I'll be honest, I'm still a little starstruck from it, but they got all the way down. They started counting top 10 in chicken. And man, after I came back and I took a bite of my chicken, I felt confidence, but at the same time I didn't, because I was like, man, what if they got a chewy bite? But they got all the way down to 2nd. I was like, oh no, I don't have it. Like there's not a chance. Like everybody who competes knows that feeling. When it's from 10 to 5, you're like, okay, let's hear my name. Let's hear my name. And then every time it gets to 5 to 1, you start wondering, man, was it that good? But I don't know. Like you start second guessing it. So I never expected to get a call on first place chicken, but he said with a perfect 180 chicken, and he said Bad Dog BBQ, and I was like, Lord have mercy. So I went up there. It was my very first perfect 180 on chicken, and then I knew my ribs were good. I did. I didn't get to try that rack, but when I was cutting it and I squeezed them, I knew the texture was good. I knew everything when I cut them. They felt good. I knew my taste on my other ones were good. So, but like I said, I didn't even really get to taste the rack that I turned in. So I didn't know exactly what to expect on that one either. But when they called my name on that, they said another one. They said Bad Dog BBQ, first place rib with a perfect 180. I was like, oh, chicken. I actually didn't. I got second place in chicken. I lied. I got second place in chicken. Wes, Piglytically Incorrect, got first place chicken. But
you know what's crazy about Piglytically Incorrect? So we were driving the same weekend of this contest. We were actually driving to Mississippi, and we were just on the highway, dude. And I'm driving, whatever. Not even really, I mean, I'm paying attention, right? But I'm just driving, and I'm on the highway. And out of nowhere, I pull up to a barbecue trailer, and I'm like, listening to music. I'm like, wait a sec. I'm like, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Piglytically Incorrect right in front of us, right? So I had my wife take a picture real quick, and then I was like, hey, open up Facebook and go to West, and so she had messaged him and was like, hey, I'm right behind you, but from my page, right? From my personal Facebook, and then we took off, and then messaged him one more time and said, all right, see you later. Good luck this weekend, whatever. And so, a couple hours later, because he was driving, he didn't respond right away. He was just like, oh, man, heck yeah, dude, good luck in Mississippi or whatever. So it was just random that the time of the day I was on a random highway driving to Mississippi, and I saw him, and I was like, what the heck? So anyway, second place 180 chicken, first place 180 ribs. So already you've got a 180 and you've got a 180. And at this point, you don't know what's going on with pork, but you ended up getting a sixth place pork. But I mean, at this point, you got a 116. Are you for sure in the driver's seat, or are there enough people that was Wes? Was he right there with you?
Wes was right there with me. We were thinking, man, if I bomb this, Wes has it. Like dude was getting call after call, and I was like, oh man, it's between me and him. And I was talking to Drew. I was sitting beside Razor Racks. And I said, man, I'll take a sixth place brisket right now. He said, I bet you would, because I'm thinking in my head, I've already got two 180s. I mean, if I tanked brisket, I was out. But I was like, man, what if? Because I ran with the brisket, so I wasn't quite sure what it was when I turned it in. I didn't know if I shook it up. I didn't know what happened. And but they started calling me down, and it was funny because people started surrounding me. You had Reagan. Reagan literally walked up to me. He's like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And that's Reagan is La Pasadena, and he was standing right beside me. And sure enough, they called brisket, and you had all these people yell for me, and I was like, "Oh man!" I've never had that before. I've had people, my friends and stuff, clap, but I've never experienced that. You almost can't be mad at somebody for winning with 3 180s. It's hard to. It was crazy the support I had, man. It was insane.
Yeah.
But no, it was great, dude. It just wasn't. I didn't expect it. So I've had good cooks that I've done horrible at, and I walked away what could I have done different? But this one, I knew if I didn't do well, I knew what I did. I don't cook but once every month and a half, 2 months. So it's not like I have it down to the minute, but sometimes in your cook you have, mess ups. And I didn't know if I was able to fix what I had messed up that day. But I mean, apparently I did.
So all said and done, you win the contest, right? And that in its own is incredible. But then after the contest, the contest is still technically on. You got a completely separate, but this to me is even better than winning the contest. I mean, you could disagree. The reason I say that this is better is because quite literally, there's a record book in KCBS history, right? And now, where are you on that list when it comes to the highest scores of all time?
I am tied for second place with a 717.7.
Yeah, and that's insane. I mean, that's just insane. So, I mean, you're a couple of points away from a complete perfect score, running the whole table, tied for the second best of all time. And, you know, like records like that, those are not easily beat. So you're going to be there for hopefully a very, very long time. Now, you're also going to be the GC of that. But the thing is, like, next year, it's possible that you're not the GC of that event, right? But, like, your name is always going to be there for that score that you did that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just a really, really awesome thing that you were able to do. I you know, from the outside looking in, when we all saw it, when I saw it, when Sabrina saw it, we were like, holy, you know what, right? We're like, freaking Kyle mopped everybody. But then I found out that even though you did win, man, like Wes was right there too. So he had a strong cook, but man, overall, just a flat out great performance.
My favorite thing about it, I've never had a perfect 180.
And then you had 3.
I have 3 in one contest.
Yeah.
The only other time I ever had a 700 was, I think it was Wynn, Arkansas, at the Wynn contest. I got a 700 with 9th place. And I only have 2 700 pins, which 700, that's what do y'all got in KC or in CBA? It's the same as, you know, y'all have the.
So the ones in CBA is there's a perfect 200 pin, and then there's a 777.
That's it. Yeah. So I guess it's equivalent to y'all 777.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean just a super high score. It's very impressive. I've done 777 2 times, which, you know, yeah, both times you're like, okay, that's a strong day. But it ain't second highest of all time strong day. I'll tell you that much.
I told a buddy of mine, I said, it makes me want to just go ahead and hang it up now. I said, because you're only as good as your last cook.
Yeah, hey, you go out on top, you go out second best of all time. Yeah, that's a pretty dang good record.
We kind of had a similar situation, like our first perfect score in Angleton, we got a perfect score rib. And then that was our first perfect score ever. And then we got a perfect pork right after that. Like,
and that was our first, our first pork.
It's such a crazy feeling too, because that's when you know, like, okay, no matter what happened in this cook and what I thought, I actually did nail it.
Yeah.
Those aren't just my first 180s. Those are my first. I've had a first place rib, but I haven't ever had a first place anything else in KCBS.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know what it is. There's something now. We've had our fair share of first places and stuff, but for some strange reason, to me, I don't know why. Yeah, there's a special feeling about first place brisket, but I love getting a first place pork. I cannot explain it. I don't know what it is about pork. I love cooking pork, and the reason is I feel like when you nail the pork, man, it's just like such a satisfying feeling. I don't know why, but I just love cooking pork. That's really and truly, that's why I like cooking CBA so much, because I love cooking pork.
So me and my wife talk about that. My pork is my favorite thing to do. Hands down, it's my favorite thing. I love building the boxes. That's why I haven't went to doing straight money muscles yet. A lot of people have went straight to monies. And man, I just love building a pork box. It takes the whole 30 minutes, but it's so satisfying when you can hit it, man. When you can make your bacon tender and your money muscle perfect at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
I don't separate. So when you can get it perfect at the same time, man, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things to do.
No, that's awesome, dude. And again, congratulations on a great weekend and a very, very dominating victory, to say the least, for sure. But man, one of the last things that we wanted to talk about today was, what advice do you have for cooks that are trying to get into KCBS?
Man, it's going to be generic, but don't give up. I mean, you're going to go out there and you're going to get beat up on like that. There's just no way around that. You don't let your pride get in the way. Don't think because you cook the best backyard that you're going to go there and just dominate, because like I said earlier, it's different. And I had to get that in my head too, because I didn't like cooking the KCBS recipes. And Fire Dancer even told me so many times, he said, you're not cooking for yourself, you're cooking for judges. So if I had one advice, just don't give up. Just keep on with it. And
Yeah.
hit your tenderness. Hit your tenderness. That is it. I had to say that. Hit your tenderness.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's really good advice. I think that, one of the things whenever you start doing this and you don't really fully realize is that, like you said, there are people that go out there and they do this. They're good.
Yeah.
And they are literally going to beat you up. They almost
Yes.
hope they land on the same table as you in the beginning. Yeah, you just got to flip the script on them and make it to where, man, I don't want to be on that guy's table anymore because now he's starting to get the hang of it.
But that's the thing, man. I want to be on the best table there.
100%.
If I see Bill Purvis walk up, I'm gonna hit his. If I see, Piglytically Incorrect, I want to be on his. When I see Slaps, I want to be on his table. Like it's just, I want to be on these people's table that I used to say I want to be just like.
Yeah.
And that's the tables that I want to be on because in my head I'm like, I want to be able to say that I wasn't just trash. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know. It makes me feel happy that I can put my stuff on the same table as theirs and do well.
When Sabrina and I were running in 2023, we would literally look at the contest and figure in our head, are the best cooks going here or are they going somewhere else? And we would always hit the one where we felt like we had the best possible chance of going to where Phil, Bill, Aaron, Fred, everybody was going to be there. We wanted all of them to be there because we feel the same way. It's so much funner when all of the best cooks in Texas are there and you can hang with them. It is so much better that way.
It is awesome. It really is a great feeling. But I tell my wife, sometimes I'll do backyard contests. And she'll ask me, she'll say, how do you feel about your cook? And I can never tell her an answer, ever, because those are harder than doing the KCBS because I feel like when you're on a table with a bunch of good cooks, you kind of know what you're going to expect compared to if you're on a table with somebody who oversmokes their food.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they put their half chicken on an offset smoker for 6 hours.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, they just first place chicken. Like what the heck?
No, that is 100% true, and I've watched it. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm like, how does that even work? But,
yeah.
That's part of it. But that's kind of why I pick the good tables, just because I would rather have a judge eat after one of them than eat after somebody who just gave them lighter fluid.
Yeah.
It's just, you never know. I don't know. It's not just that, but that does play a role in my head, like when I'm picking tables.
Oh,
I think that's like the best way to also help yourself improve is like, especially if you're like if you're starting out cooking. I know that sounds like a rough way to approach it, but go to the tables where like the big dogs are, because then that gives you some kind of insight as to how you should improve moving forward. Because if you go into a competition thinking like with a backyard mindset, and then you go up against people who have been doing this for so long and you get beat up, then okay, I need to change my recipes more to something that they're doing, right?
And another thing for new people, don't be scared to ask for advice. And don't just sit there and ask for somebody's recipe, but I'm saying advice. Talk to somebody that's been doing it a while, and I promise you, they're going to love to help you.
For sure.
Some may be a little, but that's the thing about the sport that I have noticed. Man, everybody seems to be willing to help you. Like they want to see you do well. They want to see the new person come in and do well. And I will tell you, this is probably one of the most supportive sports that I've ever done. And yes, I call it a sport because it is a lot that goes into it. But it's just, I love the camaraderie that comes with the barbecue community.
Yeah, you mentioned like mentors for you early on. And I could almost guarantee, because we've had support this way, I could almost guarantee that their advice wasn't just limited to recipes. The most important things you take from them are, like, hey, you need to work on your texture. Like things people don't think about. They assume that everything is just recipe based.
I've said this before, but I'll never forget it. El Campo Los Lagoon 2023, Phil Breeden came up to me and he gave me a piece of advice that changed everything for us. And he said it so nonchalantly, and he almost said it in like a runaround type of way, almost like, hey, I'm going to tell you something, think about it. And he literally told me that day, he said, man, bro, you have the prettiest boxes of barbecue I have ever seen in my life. He told me that.
Yeah.
And then he also said, man, pretty food, or no, he said, man, tender food is hard to make look that pretty. That's all he said.
It is true.
That's all he said. And then he was just like, so he was basically, without telling me, he was saying, you need to push your food more. 2 contests in a row after that, we GC'd.
So that's kind of like Fire Dancer I explained to you. He will not come out and tell you an answer. But what he does, which I love it now, I hated it at first. If I asked him, man, is it too early to sauce? I'm just using an example. He'll say, is it? Like, he'll question my question. Like, that's literally how he answers advice. Hey, is this too tender? He'd be like, is it too tender? And and I get why he does it now, because he don't want to just give me the answer, because it's not how you learn. But when I tell you I've learned so much from the way he's helped me throughout, I really have. And it's because, like you said Phil did to you, he wanted you to question what he was saying. And I really do think you can give your recipe to anybody. They still have to cook it. That's the crazy. And I'm 100% firm believer in this. Your competition food is like the last 10 or 15 minutes is literally what makes or breaks your food.
Yeah.
Like 100%. And the cook part is easy, man. It's the finishing is where it gets complicated.
No, I agree with you there 100%, for sure. Well, overall, I think that this is a really, really great interview with Kyle. We want to thank him for coming on for sure. And just congratulations again on the huge, huge score, the huge success, and hopefully you continue to do your thing in KCBS. Come on over to Texas and cook a few more CBAs with me, and we'll continue to have a good time. But, man, I think that was good. We want to wrap this up. We don't want to keep you too long, but I did want to give you an opportunity. If you have any sponsors or if you have anybody that you want to shout out, man, now's the time. Show some love to anybody in barbecue that you want to shout out.
Well, I just want to shout out my main sponsor, it's Gulf Coast Smoke. He's, as I'm here, y'all go buy his stuff. It wins. I promise you, I have trophy after trophy to show you that it works. Fire Dancer Barbecue, for everything he's ever done for me since the beginning. He's the reason I do this, and I know he's going to hate that I say that because he tried to talk me out of it. But then you got Razor Racks. He's another one, man. He's great. He's supported me at every single contest. Hell, he gets happier when I win than he does, which when he wins. But man, that's all I have.
That's awesome, man. No, we really appreciate you being on the podcast. I did tell you that you did not need to shout us out, but you did it anyway, so we appreciate you for that.
I love you. I literally love you guys, man. You literally, every contest, you check on me. You make sure, see, I did. You always have my back, so no, I got to shout you out.
I appreciate it, man. We try to support the people that support us, so it means a lot that you've supported us this whole time, and we'll continue to try and be there for you any single way that we can. And I can't wait to keep watching you do what you do. So we really appreciate you. If you guys don't follow Bad Dog BBQ on social media, it'll be linked in the description below. If you guys have any further questions for him, you can ask him in the comments. We'll make sure to get them to him. Congratulations again on that monster score. Sabrina, did you have anything else for Kyle today?
No, I mean, just good luck to your future competitions, and we hope to see you break some more records.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get down to Texas again. You've come down the one time to hang out. Maybe you'll come down again. Or, man, I did tell Sabrina we got the RV now, so we plan on hopefully one of these days getting out. And maybe next year we'll be in Jonesboro because I want to see you do it again, and I want to see you break your own record again. Man,
that'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, I mean, we've already rolled through where you live. 3-4 times already.
Yeah.
So it's really not a bad drive. We definitely are going to try our best to make it out there. Thanks one more time to Kyle for coming on the episode today. We really appreciate it. Yeah, that is a pretty crazy brisket story right there for Kyle.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine having to have thrown the box? Now I remember on my dropping chicken streak,
was that 2 contests in a row?
2 contests in a row.
Yeah.
And so that was Battling Barbecue was the second time. And I literally had to run because I think Bree was like, hey, you got like this much time. I'm like, oh, shoot. And then that's how I dropped it, right? And like, I can't imagine running and they're telling you to throw the box just to try to get it into turning. I'd be like, all right, here you go.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That is crazy. But man, what an awesome thing that happened for him, especially somebody that hasn't been cooking that long. Kyle's a really great guy. That's why we wanted to get him on the podcast today. But, we did want to take a brief moment after the fact to kind of talk about a few recipes that we had this week. We'll keep them very, very brief, very, very short. We're already around the hour mark, so we don't want to keep you guys much longer. But first and foremost, we came up with this recipe, which is actually a little bit of inspiration from a local spot next to us called Butter Churn. So Butter Churn is country cooking, but it's buffet style.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, they call these cowboy steaks. And I don't know exactly what's in them, but we made them the way we kind of thought in our brain they were. But the kicker here was, and so you're not going to see that on the short form video, but in the long form video, the real kicker was that we used Wagyu brisket and sirloin and ground it ourselves in order to make those patties. And I'll tell you what, those patties were insane. Truly. I mean, I know, and I've talked about this before. It's like, really? How can it all be that good? Dude, those patties were that good.
Well, let's talk about that grinder for a second.
Dude, straight up. So shout out to Meat. They sent us the sickest grinder of all time. We ground that meat in 15 seconds.
Probably less.
Dude, probably less. When I'm not exaggerating, we used to have the KitchenAid attachment. Dude, it would take... one time it literally started smoking. I was like, oh my God, Sabrina, I broke your thing.
My, the one I've had since I was 16.
Dude, I literally was like, Sabrina, I broke it. Sorry. No, but, dude, so this meat grinder, the 1 horsepower, insane. Shout out Meat. Thank you so much for sending that out. They also sent us a really amazing vacuum sealer. And it's like, dude, their products are incredible. We'll put a link down here for what we got from them. And I'll tell you what, dude, I will never not own a Meat product from here on out. We've only used them a couple of times, but they are just out of this world. So the grinder made quick work. We were literally ready to make these burgers in, I'm not exaggerating, less than 5 minutes. I'm talking like from the second that I cut up the chunks, put it in there, ground it, and then I did it again, and then we formed the patties, 5 minutes, literally.
Oh yeah, I mean normally when we film a recipe like that, I have a ton of footage because it takes forever for it to finish grinding with the KitchenAid attachment.
Seriously, but the kicker is those burgers. Seriously, the kicker is the burgers. And just how flavorful they were, because you got that Wagyu brisket, you got that sirloin, and then they were just smoked to perfection.
Oh, we've talked about it before. Grinding your own meat is a completely different experience.
100%. 100%. So, again, we don't want to take too much time on these recipes. We just wanted to briefly go over them. But pay attention to the long form video because we did grind our own meat, and it made the recipe that much better. Now, secondly, we made another turkey breast. Of course, right? You know we did. This one, dude, I know you guys are probably like, shut up already. This one was it. This one was it. This one was my favorite one we've ever done for now. And it's, dude, I knew it was going to be that good when we popped the lid of the smoker off and it looked the way it did.
Well, I mean, and also, so for this turkey breast, this is a Asian-inspired one. So we did an Asian-style marinade, which we've done before on a previous cook.
And one thing I did want to mention really fast, this Asian marinade, we have now used it. Chicken wings, chicken legs, beef ribs, pork ribs, pork. Now we've used it on turkey breast. It works for every single thing.
Yeah, and so with this turkey breast, we used the QP mayonnaise.
I think that's what it's called.
And we use that as a binder. So that anytime you use mayonnaise as a binder for something, it's going to give it a deeper color.
Brown,
Right. So even though you're using that TX rub, which is just pretty much salt and pepper based. It's not normally going to give you that much color. With that QP mayonnaise, it gives it a much more like a brown color, right?
Yeah.
Or golden color.
For sure.
And then with the added sauce at the end, I mean, it was so good that even like Piper was like, I want a turkey breast on my birthday.
Literally.
Like,
dude, I'm telling you, like, that's how good it was. So the 2 recipes that we made, I'll tell you this much. My son said he wanted the cowboy hamburger steaks for his birthday.
Yeah.
And then my daughter Piper, who is probably the pickiest eater I've ever met,
does not care for barbecue as much as anybody else.
literally, like, we'll be at a competition. She's like, get that away from me. And now she wants that specific turkey breast for her birthday. Now, is that going to change? Probably.
Yeah.
But the fact that she liked it that much should tell you something. It truly was that good. We took it over to my mom and dad's. My sisters, brother-in-laws, everybody were eating, and they were like, dude, this is fire.
Yeah.
And they've said that about all of them, but this one truly just had that flavor that was incredible. It was different. It was just, it was just hard to beat.
Well, and usually, I mean, Asian-inspired flavors don't seem like something that would go with a smoked turkey, but we've said it before, a smoked turkey. Imagine any sort of wing flavor that you want to do and apply it to a smoked turkey breast, and it works. It truly works.
And so the reason that we did that, because we were basically thinking in our brain, okay, let's think of like a stir-fry type chicken. All right, let's turn that into something that we can do for turkey.
Right.
And that's basically exactly what we did, and it just worked.
Yeah.
It just worked. And the Bachan's honey, not sponsored, the Bachan's honey is incredible.
We'll take a sponsorship.
Yeah,
Bachan's.
that stuff is insanely good.
Yeah.
Like, and you know this, and I'll openly admit it right now. I used to hate that sauce.
Yeah, and I loved it.
You did. You loved it from the get-go, and I didn't like it from the get-go. I don't know what it was, though.
I think because it's runnier. Usually when you think of like an Asian sauce, it's like thicker. It's like sticky.
You know what we should have done was we should have taken the sauce that was in the bottom of the foil that had some of the drippings from the turkey. We should have added a cornstarch slurry to it, and we should have thickened it, and we should have put it right back over top.
Yeah, we definitely could have put it back on the smoker, let it tack up. But honestly, it was like so good as is. It was like, why even bother?
Hindsight's 20/20 in about every single one of these recipes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, yes, we could have made it better. Yes, we could have this. Yes, we could have that. But the beautiful thing about these recipes is you guys can watch it and you can decide what you'd like, what you don't like, what you want to change, what you want to keep, what you want to up, and make it your own. So that's the one thing that I really like to, whenever I do get somebody in the comments that says, you should have done this, man, you do it then. And I'm not trying to be like rude about it, but it's the truth. Like, okay, you do it.
Yeah, let it inspire. Kind of like Kyle was saying, right? It's like when you answer somebody open-ended, right? It makes you think, okay, well, I need to actually do some critical thinking here before I make a decision, right? So
100%.
Maybe if you watch our recipe and you say, I don't know about that, but I would do this. Okay, well, that's good. That's what we want. We want you to make the recipe, yes, but we also just want you to cook. We want to inspire you to make this recipe and make it your own.
Yeah, and speaking of recipes, I'll tell you what, Sabrina, shout out to Sabrina. So first and foremost, shout out to Cooking with Babe. She gave me this idea when we were hanging out was that last weekend already?
Yeah.
Last weekend in Mississippi, she was like, hey, you should start doing recipe cards. And so she was showing me, and she was like, this is what I do. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Shout out to Cooking with Babe. She gave us this idea. Shout out to Sabrina for actually putting it into action. So what we're doing now for every single recipe that we do is we are making a recipe card. And we're going to post it the day after, and we're going to link the video to where we actually made that recipe.
Now we can't mass delete it.
Yeah, now we can't mass delete it because it's going to be on our social media. I did that back in the day. We lost about 50 recipes. I'll never live it down. But we are going to have the recipe cards there to where you can save it and you can share it, whatever. And it's going to have instructions on how to make what we made. So basically, like, for example, on Monday, we posted the cowboy hamburger steak recipe.
Short
today,
version.
Yeah, that was in short version. Today, we are posting the I posted the recipe card for it. Tomorrow, we will post the turkey breast, and then we'll post the turkey breast recipe card the day after. Where on Wednesday, also, we're going to have a long-form video. So there's just going to be a lot of stuff coming from us, and it does take extra work, but we are completely dedicated to making sure that if you guys are interested in trying these recipes, you have every opportunity to do them. Now, again, have fun with them. Make them your own. 100%, that is exactly what we want. If you ever make any of our recipes, shoot us a message, send us a DM, do whatever you got to do. Let us know that you did it. It means so much to us. This is what we love to do. We're having a lot of fun doing it, but it would mean a lot if you guys showed us and told us, like, hey, look, I recreated your recipe. It was incredible, blah, 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 whatever.
Right. And if you think we're out of ideas for turkey breasts,
We're not.
You're wrong.
Yeah, we already have like 10
Yeah. And then we're going to take all those recipe cards and make a book of
of turkey breast.
a billion ways to smoke turkey like the Turkey King.
Yeah, the Turkey King. I don't know. I don't know why, but the Turkey King's become a little bit of a meme, a little bit of a thing, but it is what it is. I think that because we had Kyle on, and we've already been on for a while, if you don't have anything else, I think we should end it here.
Yeah, and go back home to our no internet again.
Again, no internet again. What did I tell you guys last week? It's probably the worst day of our lives, and it happened again. But we're actually printing out some stuff on the 3D print.
Ooh,
I got a 3D printer. Well, we got a 3D printer. How long ago? It's been 2 months? Month and a half?
Something like that, yeah.
I am getting into it pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it is the coolest thing.
It is the coolest thing. I am getting into it pretty hardcore. So if you guys have any printer knowledge, any tips, anything, man, shoot me a message because I love 3D printing now. Like, I'm way into it. So really, really excited to go home and see how our print is going.
Yeah.
Because we have one literally running right now.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but since Sabrina doesn't have anything else and I'm completely good, now is a great time to tell you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. We are trying to reach 100,000 subscribers. We get closer and closer every single day, and you can definitely help out. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other platform where podcasts can be listened on, man, share it with a friend. Maybe they want to hear us talk to Kyle about barbecue. Maybe they want to give us some 3D printing tips. Yeah. I don't know. You never know. Maybe they want to hear us talk about turkey breast or recipe cards or just whatever. You guys can help us grow, and we would really appreciate it. As always, that's not our outro for this. That is our YouTube outro.
And then the other day we did a YouTube outro, or the podcast, or no, short form version intro for long form. Yeah,
I'm all over the place. All we're doing is making content, and it just seems to run together these days. I'm going to leave you with one thing, one little motivational, crazy little thing. Recently, I've had a couple of people in my life. They're not saying anything wrong. They're not saying anything bad. They've been telling me that it is crazy, quote, maybe not those exact words, it would be crazy for me to leave the job that I have for a life that I'm unsure of. And I'll tell you what, I'm the craziest mother you-know-what in the world, because the second I can, I will. And Sabrina and I are going to turn this into something incredible. We want you to turn whatever your passion is into something incredible as well. I promise you I want that. It doesn't matter if you have a seasoning. It doesn't matter if you have a sauce. It doesn't matter if you make turkey breast videos too. Whatever you want to do, do it. If people think you're crazy, prove to them that you are. I am crazy. I'm going to make this happen, and so are you. If Sabrina's done, I'm done. I'm going home. I got to check on this print. Maybe I'll have internet. I don't know. Maybe I won't. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't. So anyway, we'll see you guys on the next episode. You'll hear us on the next episode. Peace.